Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another live video from your friend, Oluwole. So today I want to share my personal experience with you as a Google Ads manager for a very long time. So not long ago, Google introduced a particular features in Google Ads, and that is the optimization score. So the optimization scores gives a lot of recommendations all the time, and they want you to apply the recommendation. And as a matter of fact, Google actually wants you to have 100% optimization score. But if you are not a very experienced Google Ads manager, you might be wondering what kind of optimization you should apply into your account and which ones you should not apply into your account. So I want to talk about it in this video, and I have a couple of things highlighted in front of me, which are the reasons why I usually don't apply all the Google's recommendations to my campaign. So the first one I have in front of me is I don't want to have my bid outrageous. I don't want Google to just determine whatever they like as my cost per click. And this is very possible if you go ahead and apply all the available recommendations or the optimizations in your Google Ads account. For example, much of the time, when you set up conversion tracking in your Google Ads account, Google will start giving recommendations that you should use either maximize conversions or target CPA. One of the bad things about these two bidding strategies is that when you are using them, you can't set up the maximum CPC you want to use for that particular campaign. In target CPA, you might be able to set up the target cost per action. Probably you want to get conversion maybe at the rate of $2, but how much you are being charged for every click you get is not something you will be able to determine when you are using target CPA. So because of that, I don't want to be in a situation whereby Google can go ahead and charge me as much as $1 per click when my target CPA is $2, and probably I'm expecting to get click for maybe $0.2 per click. So because of that, I will not always accept the recommendations to use either target CPA or maximize conversion bidding strategy. That is the number one reason why I usually don't accept almost all the recommendations given in the optimization area of my Google Ads. And the second one is I might have multiple campaigns in my Google Ads account, and it's very true. I usually have more than one campaign in my account. And when I have more than one campaign in my Google Ads account, each of the campaign has different conversion value. For example, if I'm selling something that is worth 50,000 naira in one of the campaign, another campaign I may be selling something that is worth maybe 10,000 naira. Now you see the conversion value for each campaign are different. Now, if I have a conversion setting in my account, and maybe the one of 10,000 naira is getting a lot of conversion, whereas the one of 50,000 naira is getting a very few conversions. Now, if Google starts recommending for me to use target CPA or maximize conversion in my account, probably they might be taking into consideration the conversions from the lowest conversion value, which is the one of 10,000 naira, and then they can be using that to judge the performance of the account or of the campaigns with 50,000 naira conversion value. That way, there's going to be some problem with the conversions and the optimization. And when you go ahead and just apply the optimization using the maybe target CPA or using maximize conversion, you might realize you will start spending more for every conversion you get in that particular campaign. So when you have multiple campaigns in your account with different conversion values, you have to be careful before you go ahead and apply optimizations that talks about maybe using maximize conversion or using target CPA. That is the second reason why I usually don't accept all the recommendations in my Google Ads account. And the third one I have in front of me, the third one I have in front of me here is I want to know exactly where my advert is showing. One of the recommendations Google will usually ask you to apply is using the or is allowing your advert to show on the partner website. And the unfortunate thing is that when you are advertising on the partner's website, you don't know exactly where your advert is showing. And because of that, you might not be able to control exactly how your advert is showing and whatever is happening to your advert. I don't want that to happen. I want to have control on my advert, and that is why I will not apply that recommendations to my campaign. Instead, I will just dismiss that recommendation, and I will tell Google that this is not relevant for my business. And the next one I have here is that using dynamic targeting for my campaign. It is not always true for me to use dynamic targeting because it might not be useful for me. For example, if you are sending people to a single landing page and you want to have control over whatever is happening on that particular campaign, using dynamic targeting might not give you the best results. In fact, when you use dynamic targeting for such campaign, you might be getting a lot of irrelevant traffic because the way Google will be serving your advert will be based on the keywords they have on the site. And when they just go ahead and serve your advert to some keywords, probably similar keywords that is not actually the same intent as what you're advertising, you might start getting a lot of traffic, but lower conversion just because you go ahead and apply dynamic recommendation to your campaign. So I wouldn't apply that in many cases, except if I'm advertising maybe a very large website with a very huge budget, and I know that dynamic targeting can be very helpful. Then that is the only way you will see me using dynamic targeting in my campaign. And that is another reason why I'm very careful before I apply recommendations in my Google Ads account. And the last one I have in front of me, which I'm going to talk about in this live video, is optimization is based on machine learning. Now, if you are an expert in Google Ads, you probably know how things work, why they work the way they work. Now, if you know that, you don't have to rely 100% on machine to be doing what you can do for you. For example, what you are selling, you know it more and more than the machine. So when you are advertising a particular product, you know when you are getting conversion and when you are not getting conversion. Now, you can be using some recommendations to improve your campaign performance, but not in all cases, because you know better about what you're advertising and you should be able to make a better decision than the machine in most of the cases. So you don't want to leave the machine to handle all the critical aspects of your campaign. You want to monitor it by yourself and you want to see exactly what is going on so that you don't go ahead and waste your budget without getting the result you are looking for. So forget about it. It might be the recommendations from Google, but it is not always true that those recommendations will help you get the best results. So be careful before you apply all the recommendations you are saying in your Google Ads account. If you don't know exactly what the recommendation is all about, just go ahead and dismiss it and tell Google that this is not relevant to your business, or you want to have full control of your bid, or you don't even want to spend more. That way, your optimization score can increase to maybe 80, 90, or 100% without even having to apply that recommendation to your campaign. I hope you have learned something in this video. If you have any question you would like to ask, feel free to ask and I will address every single question. Thanks again for joining me, and don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel and like my page on Facebook and comment on the videos. Bye for now.